So I had a dream last night that I went on a trip with some friends. Definitely Cardi B and Henny. They were there. We went to Miami. And I want to say it was a black guy there. I want to say it was Tony. The guy, Tony that Dahmer killed. If you look at the series Dahmer on, or if you know who Jeffrey Dahmer is, killed a guy named Tony, a deaf guy. But Tony was cool as hell. And we there in Florida, and something happened to where we had to come back. It was a storm. There was a storm there, and we had to come back. So we had to like jump out a window for one to get back. They all flew back. But I kind of like took this route where you could like swing from the trees, branches, and kind of like use the wire to, Anyway, it was just it was storming too, so it was like wet trees. I remember just traveling through the trees. And we ended up back in Greensboro, and my house was on Boyd Street again. I remember I lived on Boyd Street near A&T again when we got back. And Cardi B and Henny, their home was kind of like where Keisha, my girlfriend at the time, lived over there by A&T. But it was just, things were different. It was further than that. It was kind of like where A&T was, though, where she lived, where Cardi B and Henny lived. And I went to Cardi B and Henny crib when I got back. And they were, so I went in, I just walked in, because I guess that's how how cool we were. I walked in and I take off my clothes and shit. I get comfortable standing there in the doorway. And I look up thinking, Cardi and Henny going to be sitting in the living room. But it was their whole family sitting there in the living room. I'm like, dang, where they at? And I remember dad, mom, they were big. They were kind of like heavy people. I remember remember them being all heavy set, brothers and sisters too. Or like another sister, brother might have not been so heavy. But anyway, I was like, dang, my bad for just barging in like that. And I left. Really, I left. And while I was leaving out, I turned back and was like, my bad for barging in. And I left out. And I was walking through the woods. It was like, I've had a dream before where it was these woods going from where Keisha used to live back to where I used to live, because I used to jump that fence to go back to my house on Boyd Street right there, right there by A&T. But it was like a ditch. And then I remember when I lived in Vegas too, I had a dream where I was going from downtown Vegas back to the house on Sahara Boulevard, where I lived in Vegas too. And it's the same like ditch fence I got to jump over to go back home. Except when I have a dream and I'm in Vegas, it's like way bigger. And the view is different, because of course the city lights and all that freaking futuristic city. But anyway, I go back home. On the way back home, I'm thinking like, dang, they flew to Florida when we went on the trip. But I drove. So we all back in Greensboro. And I gotta get my fucking car. I'm thinking like, how the fuck am I gonna get back to Florida to get my car and bring it back? Or is there a service where I can have somebody like bring it? Because it's obviously the future. Because I took some trees back, kicking it with Tony. Tony been dead, since I was a baby. So it's the future. No, it's another dimension, really, is what it is. When you go to sleep, when you have dreams, you're in another dimension. But anyway, I woke up, so I was happy as hell that my car is outside. And told my friend about the dream, and I'm telling you now. Booyah. Thanks for chilling with me. Thanks for listening to my dream.